The fighting in Ukraine has fueled a crisis at America's gas stations. David Pogue now on pain at the pump.
Every morning, manager George Ramos updates the prices at his Harlem gas station. Lately, he's been using bigger numbers.
In 1 week, it went almost 90 cents.
Have you ever had a really angry driver come and yell at you guys?
Yeah. Once a day, like vitamins.
Last week, average American gas prices hit a record high, $4.33 a gallon, and much higher in some places. And because it now costs more to transport anything, everything costs more. So why are gas prices spiking? It's got to be Russia, right?
No, the problem with energy prices is not just Russia.
Jason Bordoff is the director of the Center on Global Energy Policy at Columbia University. And by the way, an electric bike fan. He says that it all started with the pandemic.
We shut down half the global economy to keep people at home and keep us safe. And so prices collapsed, and you had incentive to stop drilling and lay down your rigs.
Okay, so demand for oil fell, and then the supply fell. And then, when the pandemic began to ease up,
people have more money to spend, and a lot of them are spending it on pent-up demand for travel. We haven't traveled in a while, and people really want to do that. And the oil industry is trying to ramp production back up. But like supply chains with cars and supply chains with lots of other parts of our economy, there are bottlenecks and problems.
So the oil companies were trying to gear up again. But then Russia attacked Ukraine. All over the world, countries stopped buying Russian oil.
Much less Russian oil is getting out into the world. And therefore, there's less oil in the global bathtub of oil, and that pushes prices up for that global oil price.
So the pandemic recovery was the first whammy, and the Russia situation made it a double whammy. Too much demand, not nearly enough supply. But we get only about 3% of our oil from Russia. So why does that war affect prices here? Well, without the Russian oil, the countries that usually buy Russian oil had to find other sources. So less oil overall, prices go up, including here.
This is essentially a prime lesson for Economics 101, how supply and demand really work.
Patrick DeHaan is the chief petroleum analyst for Gas Buddy, the app that helps you find the cheapest gas near you. What about this notion that it's the president and his policies that are at fault?
The U.S. president is a small cog in a big wheel of global supply and demand. And while a president can attempt to try and steer one wheel of an 18-wheeler, the market is still in predominant control of where oil prices go.
You hear a lot of this, oh, the oil companies are gouging.
Looking at, 150,000 gas stations in near real time and watching the prices that they pay, the wholesale price of fuel, I can tell you that in very, very few, if any, instances, there is gouging.
Nobody can say when gas prices will drop again, but at least they're no longer climbing. Jason Bordoff says that COVID shutdowns in China have lowered demand.
Oil prices have fallen over 30% in the last week because of the resurgence of COVID in China. The price at the pump is set by the price of oil, and the price of oil is set in a global market.
In other words, we shouldn't yell at the guy pumping our gas.
It's certainly not the fault of the guy pumping our gas.
Or, as gas station manager George Ramos puts it,
We're only pawns in the game.
so you're just the last domino in a long line of pricing.
I'm the guy with the mop.